I'm not sure what 1212 is activating at the minute, but it's been coming through strong for a few days before the 1212 itself. And it's a lot about matrix, 3D matrix, and pulling ourselves out of the boxes, limitations, and realising that if we do want to fulfil our potential, our true potential, our limitless potential as spiritual beings on the planet right now, and this may come across as weird for people that have known me in a past life, that have not, and I don't mean actual past life, I just mean old version of me, where I've not been talking about this stuff, but I am a life path number 3. I've been told to talk, so I'm talking. And I spent the past couple of years pulling myself out of this matrix. It's been really, really hard and painful, but there's been a few things I've been tapping into recently, and some beautiful words I've been hearing online. A lot of women, sort of psychics, intuitives, growing in their strength and power and sharing some amazing little golden nuggets for us who choose the spiritual path. And it's really about this being sort of a virtual game. You know, if we can really pull back from the idea of a lot of stuff affecting us as deeply as it needs to now. Oops. As a sensitive, as an empath, lots of us will identify with deep, deep feelings. However, once we start to process these and know how we can manage our emotions better, like whether we're drawn to sound or to the elements, well, I mean, we all naturally would be, and that is a very healing thing for us all to be sort of involved with, because we are made of the elements. And so when we come back to them, it only sort of helps our physical body, spiritual body to become in alignment. And without getting too tangenty, because I feel like this is going to be a big portal and it's opening a lot up for me and many of us. It's opening up a lot of stuff for everyone. It's just if we take the time to listen, if we take the time to slow down, if we take the time to stop being productive or think that we need to do things all the time, we will hear a lot in the next 24, 48 hours. A lot from ancestors. Yeah, I'm in Ireland. I'm tapping into some ancestral roots that I've never explored before, and I feel very, very grateful to have been gifted this opportunity by a very dear sister. It means a lot to me, and it seems to be aligned with the shamanic spiritual path. I didn't know this was going to happen. It wasn't planned, and it's happened how it happened. So I've got one strand of stuff coming through from ancestors, and obviously one from the collective and one from personal. So there's almost like 3 tangents, 3 strands of things that are coming through. And when we start to sort of play this as an interactive game and start to realise like that this is part of a scripted stage, we can start to pull back from the pain and the effect that things have on us from in a physical 3D reality. Yes, these words were a bit weird to me a couple of years ago when I heard other people talking about it. Awakening, enlightenment, 3D, 5D, empath, all that. They were all new terms to me, but we've got to start somewhere, and wherever we're drawn, it could be spiritual teachers, it could be, you know, I'm not really into the whole sort of guru and, you know, leader thing, and we've all got to, you know, follow somebody. You know, we save ourselves, and for the curious minds, we just go and read a little bit of this, or go out there, or listen to nature, or start to tap into our ancestry and get messages from self by changing habits, by eating better, by bringing joy and love into our everyday, by activating our heart chakra, because we've looked at our shadows. So there's loads of different things that we can do to get to a point where we've pulled ourselves out of the matrix living. Now, of course, people say to me, oh, well, she's had this sort of like level up because of X, Y, and Z. No, these aren't easy choices to make. I didn't choose this. It's awakening. It fucking lands on you, and it can be as dark as fuck. But I'm never shied away from a challenge. I know I'm here to support the people, and where I can level up, where other people may not have a chance to level up in the same way as me right now, but are leveling up in their own lives, in their own way, more than they ever have. We help each other. I'm paving the way in certain directions. I know other people in my soul group are paving the way in their own ways, and we come together to share the knowledge, because without each other, an exchange of information, and I mean selective, I'm not saying I'm going to be big groups or anything. I tend to work a lot one-to-one, and I have a very select friend circle, group, inner circle that I share deeper things with, and also a lot of things I just tend to keep to myself and nature and the animals at the minute. But when we start to play this as a virtual game and start to see the NPCs or see characters, see things play out on 3D that are really just repetitive themes, because they're all a distraction from self, because the only success in life is knowing thyself. Like, do I love myself? Am I resilient enough to be happy anywhere in the world, in any situation? Yes, however challenging, it can be very, very challenging for many of us right now, all in different ways. Some of us are fighting in the physical, some of us are fighting in the spiritual. And regardless of what we see other people doing, this is where our compassion comes in. Like, people might think I'm on a jolly, having a holiday, and no, I'm on some deep shamanic work right now. Whatever that means to people, cool. I don't give a fuck if anybody understands this. I know what this work is. I know how painful it is, and I know that I've not chosen an easy path. Fuck knows why. In another lifetime, I've decided this contract's mine. I'm going for it, going for gold. And by gold, I mean success. And for me, success in life, after having found it, is inner peace. Right? That means fully understanding where our pain lies, what triggers it. We're not going to get anything right all the time. And after all this spiritual work, like, at the end of the day, who knows what's actually going on? But we try. We work with intention, we work with love, we work with integrity, we connect with compassion. I prefer empathy over sympathy, because sympathy really is just looking down on people, thinking, oh, you know, I feel so sorry for that person. No, we all create our own circumstances. Some of us have come out, and some people have come out of shit circumstances at the start of their life, because they've incarnated into that, because they're warriors and they've leveled up. A lot of us, as I said before, fallen angels, pharaohs, warriors, when we start to look at ancient Kemet, when we start to look at the Kybalion, when we start to look at things, teachings, spiritual teachings that have been hidden from the general population, the gen pop, for however long, we start to see the reasoning, the rationale behind how everything is playing out right now. So therefore it can't affect us, because we know the mechanisms, i.e. it's a magic show. And when you know the magic trick, i.e. the white rabbit out of the hat, well, it can no longer be a magic trick, can it? Because we know what's happening. Which is how the pretend powers that be, because as I said, no one has power over us in this reality of ours other than ourselves. But once we know how they are working, operating on a spiritual level, and what they're presenting in the physical, because those two are not aligned, because a lot of it is deceptive. This is the facade, this is a fake vessel for many people, and what they are working with is they're working in the spiritual world, and they tend to work with, you know, look at the dark arts, look at the Kybalion, and work very carefully and intentionally with this, and make sure that love sorry, I'm in the dark, there's no light here. Make sure we're working with loving intention and connecting with spiritual practices to help protect ourselves and to cleanse ourselves every single day. Don't mean obsessively. I don't mean buying loads of whatever kind of sage from the Amazon rainforest. No, we can work with local herbs. We can make our own pine or cedarwood, rosemary, smudge sticks. If we don't like smudge, we can use water purification. We can use salt water. I've just had a dunk in the sea today. Cleanse. We can use sound therapy. We can use frequencies. We can put frequencies on at night if we feel we're getting night terrors. We can completely change our day-to-day habits to make sure that our frequencies are elevating. The world is moving very, very fast right now on a spiritual level. If we don't look after ourselves every single day, we're going to struggle. I say this for people that I love, people that don't like me, people that I know. I don't have an issue with anybody. I know who are there for me and who are not, and that's cool. We're all on a different path. I know who I want to fuck with. I know who is never going to speak to me again. That's cool. I don't wish ill on anyone. I want us to all level up together. It's really important that we start to listen to the spiritual body, the messages from other realms, from the ancestors. I'm going to speak a little bit more about it, but it seems like it's the right time tonight, 10:10 on the clock. I saw a very amazing high priestess on YouTube at the minute. She introduced me to an app called necrometer. You can buy it. It's an app that taps into, and this is if we are open into believing in frequencies. This app connects with higher consciousness, crossed over spirits, and we have to make sure that when we're working with this app, we protect ourselves and we ask for spirits working in the highest light, highest good of humanity to connect with our ancestors, because you can get restless souls that come through, and it's important that we protect ourselves. And so me being new on this path, I'm not directing anybody, not instructing anybody, because this is my own disclaimer. This is just something I've seen online and I'm choosing to work with as an end-of-life doula. I'm very connected to the non-physical, and that is an avenue that I'm going to go and explore more and more as a spiritual investigator. That's almost confirmation from the invisible. Spiritual investigator, they keep telling me. However that pans out, what anyone wants to take from that, cool, doesn't really matter. This is my journey. I've been told to share it. I know that we are all going to be faced with lots of amazing things and lots of challenges over the next 12 months, and especially between 2024 and 2030. This knowledge that I share is from downloads that I get and from people that I'm watching, intuitives and psychics, and just also, well, we see things in the 3D. We're clever enough to know now the patterning in the matrix, and as I said, whatever I'm doing right now, what is available to me on this shamanic path with the work that I've done over 3 years, or the karmic debt that I've erased, or things that I've been worked with, this is my specific path, and I'll be opening up ways for other people to join me, and that's in that area. Other people will be doing things on their path, and I'll be joining them on their path, or listening to their knowledge that they're getting through very different things. Like, I'm not going around looking at the ley lines. Like, Rory Duff is quite an interesting character at the minute, connects with Pam Gregory, and they're looking at the ley lines around the world. You know, some people say that the heart chakra of the world is Glastonbury. I don't know what is fact and what is not, but it's very interesting when you go up the Glastonbury tour, and I've taken my drum up, I've taken my my master singing bowl, because when you take your sonic instruments to higher frequency places, they affect the frequency and the energy with which these tools can be used. And that's why my bowl comes with me a lot, because I want to bring that energy to people that I'm working with, to myself. And anyway, it's just it's like a scientific study for me. These things interest me. But when you go up the tour in Glastonbury, it is like being in another world. I went up there with my mum back in the day, the first time I think she's been up there, so it was healing for both of us. We brought the dog up, we brought our Charlie Poo up there. He was like levitating. We've never seen him so calm. It's very interesting that there's this incredible energy up there, and people say it's the heart chakra of the world. Well, Jamaica, for me, it's on the 77th, not for me. Jamaica, I got called there, didn't know why I was getting called there, but it is on the 77th meridian line. 77 is a number that comes up a lot for me. You know, all these little synchronicities. When we're on the spiritual path, we get called to information. Books can turn up, you know, songs trigger memories. We get flashbacks of being in love in an old... I know that I was a go-go dancer back in the day. It's very funny because I met a go-go dancer from Grenada at a bus stop one day, and before I got to jump on the bus home, I mean, I think it's at one of the start of the videos that I did back in earlier this year, 2023, is her mother's name was Victoria, so I was just a messenger for her mother, and she showed me all these photos of her being a go-go dancer back in the 40s. I've had very visual flashbacks of being in a cabaret club as a go-go dancer and meeting a past life love there. This is super tangenty, but basically and maybe you can observe this and just see, we can start to open up portals in our minds where we've never been before. Some people might attribute this to, I don't know, herb or mushrooms. I haven't touched any of that stuff for ages, and I work with things consciously. I do think psychedelic medicine, natural medicine can be abused, but when we use it intentionally, natural herbs that have not been chemicalised, and we go into ceremony intentionally, not just to, do ayahuasca in a London flat because you want to do ayahuasca. There's energies, that we've got to be careful we're working with. Sometimes they can be dangerous. So it's really important that we work with intention and we work with our intuition and we protect ourselves. So obviously long tangent there, as kind of like my thing. Moving back to protection. Art, therapy, creation, this is all protection, because as we expel energy that needs to be outside of our spiritual gifts. So just a little video on mental health. Like, if we do not start to learn our spiritual gifts, it will affect our mental health. Many people who have flipped onto what people might start to call like insane or psychotic and all of this, and I'm not a medical practitioner, I can't say, I can't diagnose anything. We can only observe certain narcissistic tendencies. Like, all of us have got toxic traits, all of us have got narcissistic tendencies, but at the end of the day, when people say, oh, she's lost her mind or she's crazy and all this, she's hearing it, we need to start normalising working with our spiritual body, with our spiritual self, because there are many, many, many things that go amiss or get mislabelled as illness. It's actually power. Why these things are called illnesses is really, like, it shows the upside down of, like, way of how this whole matrix is playing out. A lot of the people that have, talked to themselves, spend a lot of time on themselves, probably are actually tapped into some incredible things going on in the galaxies right now. So, it's long. I just wanted to, I don't know when I'm going to put this out, but 12/12 is important. These energies are important, and obviously 21/12 is the number flipped, and it's going to be winter solstice soon. Another time we can work with and start to clear energies and move into our new powers. But please read about spiritual gifts, read about clairvoyancy, read about clairaudiency, clairsentience, read about psychic abilities, read about earth intimacy, connection to nature, read about dream interpretation, read about angel numbers, play, dance. We've got to get back into our bodies and our minds, away from the television. Television is actually a frequency, and it can affect us in ways that people are still not fully comprehending. And I'm not saying people are, I'm better than anybody or not. It's just because I've been working with singing bowls and working with frequencies more often, I'm more sensitive to television, the frequency, the manipulation of some of the frequencies they put around music. Yeah, it hurts me. It hurts my ears. It's a weapon. When we start to observe and look at this and all this free, amazing information that's online, lots of people have been talking about this for ages, we can help ourselves and stop giving our power away. We can start to live simpler lives. We can start to find satisfaction in much, much simpler ways, and it will pull out a lot of the stress and the strain that we put on ourselves. Some of us might be having to do a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and whatever we need to be doing right now, make sure that there is a vision and a goal in mind. And some people will be very happy doing that. We're all pulled in different ways, but make sure there is a balance. Make sure that, as we're connecting to the divine masculine and divine feminine energies inside of us, we are finding time to be still. Be still is not being lazy and pigging out, although that's, going to happen sometimes. Being still is just like, and doesn't even need to be meditation. Just being. Walking to the kitchen without any music on, like making a cup of tea or trying something different, or sitting on the floor and just watching what's going on out the window. listening to a new frequency, getting in touch with the solfeggio frequencies like this. There's important work we can be doing now to help our situations and our circumstances, because everything comes from frequency. So when we are aligned internally in our heart chakra, having looked at our reasons why we are triggered and unable to identify certain feelings, like we've got to start to know ourselves. From that, magic comes. From that, the abundance flows. When we are in alignment, that is where we can manifest from. When we spend time by ourselves, and I don't mean, some of us sensitives do have addictive behaviours. It doesn't always have to manifest as substances. It can be behavioural. So we go from alcohol addiction to, narcotics to behavioural OCD, BDD, like lots of different things. When we start to realise there's this whole other element of that we're not using, we're not taught, we're not harnessing, we're not nurturing, we're not moulding and shaping and creating and loving and being grateful for, spiritual wise, it will start to recalibrate the imbalance of us feeling shit or feeling like we're going mad or feeling crap, because we'll start to realise we've got gifts that we're not using. Prophecy, I'm spending time with lots of people in different environments, and I see something, or the brother says something, 10 hours later it's manifested. When we start to connect with warriors, the conversation is different. When we start to put boundaries in place about who we're going to spend our lives with, who we're going to spend our time with, things change. It's not because we're better or worse than anybody. We go where we're aligned. If people are not happy for us on this journey or triggered, cool, we've got to let them go, or we've got to distance ourselves, ebb and flow, and it will come in alignment and it will come out of alignment. We have to be where we feel good. We have to be with supportive people. We have to be with people that, and also by ourselves, and I don't mean codependency or anything. Some of us are pulling ourselves out of tendencies for years that have been indoctrinated into us from societal, familial, educational spaces. We have the power inside of us. I know that we do, because I've done it, I'm doing it, and if I could do it, anyone can. We've got to just get out the distraction. Now, how anybody interprets distraction, I'm not going to start to say things about what's going on in the world and all of that. No. I focus on what I need to. I focus on what I'm told to, and I feel successful in my life. It might look like a different type of success to other people, but I know right here, right now, I manage my emotions better than I ever have. I love myself. I love humanity. I love being alive. I've got a connectedness to nature that's never, ever, ever happened to me before, and I'm being gifted miracles daily. That is success to me. Everything else flows from that abundance, and I trust that this is a time for us to look at ourselves, connect with deep trauma, start to release, start to self-massage, start to find all these ways of helping ourselves first before helping the other. It is hard being genuinely being brought up by good people or wanting to help. If someone comes to you and asks for help, what am I going to say? No. Sometimes though, now I've realised, having gone through this big trauma shit and had to pull myself out, and people needing my time when I couldn't give it to them. I couldn't give it. This is our journey, and if we're hurting, if we're traumatised, we've got to help ourselves first, and then everything else becomes easier. Relationships get better because we know our boundaries, we know what we can give, we know how we can, when we need to rest, we know when we can talk, we know when we need to shut up. Energy conservation and working with energy, I don't like the word manipulation in a positive sense, so working with energy in harmoniously, and well, yeah, I could go on for hours. So anyway, I give thanks for the channel, whoever's coming through tonight. Kuan Yin's a very strong presence right now. And obviously we're moving into the year of the dragon next year. Wood dragon, I can't really remember. I'm not very good with the elementals, but I do know I wrote a little dragon, excuse me, little dragon poem recently. Dragon energy's there. Some of us will already be tapped into it. Other of us might be called to other things. Allow our inner child to play. Children know magical things, especially children being born at this time right now. It's a gift. It's a gift. Children are magic. Many of us are magic, and we need to get in touch with our inner children for us to be able to float onto higher frequencies, okay? What's that quote? You know, whether you believe in places or energies, but they say, you know, you can't arrive at the gates of heaven unless you not arrive as children, otherwise you won't be let in. So take from that what you will, but energy's energy. Living from a pure vibration, pure intention will get us the success that we want in whatever way we view that success. And I view mine with a full heart, and I wish that on everybody, and wish healing to everybody. I'm not going to speak to everybody again. I might want to say fuck off to a few people, but your journey's your journey, mine's mine. We share what we can, and this is a collective ascension and awakening, and I would love the warriors to be ready